folks, welcome to this exciting video where you once again join me in the wild lands of Scotland. And I'm starting this episode off at one of my favourite points. It's the path that takes you down behind Elephant Rock. And in today's video, today it's Saturday and it's currently about 3:30 in the afternoon, and I didn't have time today because I was working this morning. I didn't have time to go on any crazy adventures, but I just thought I would come here and do a little sunset walk at the coast, and we'll go down and explore a little bit that we've never seen before on the video. Quite often recently I've been to like Elephant Rock and other places like that, like down here, so we're going to head further along. There's an old ruin and stuff, and yeah, it's often interesting at the coast just seeing what's around. And when you have a view like this on offer, it's just absolutely incredible. You can actually see some colour starting to come into the sky. We've had some crazy sunsets this past week, so I just thought it's cool to come and do a wee sunset adventure, folks. Tomorrow I do intend on going to some abandoned wonders which is located up north, but yeah, that'll be in the next video. So yeah, let's get into this one. Oh, here's a train coming, check this out, folks. LNER, East Coast Line. Yeah, folks, that's a fair old train. Still running on the same route that the old steam trains used to run up and down on the east of the country here. Disappearing into the sunset there. There'll be a lot of people looking out probably at this view as they go along, just loving it probably. So the cool thing about the route that I'm going today, I'm hoping that I can get a good view looking back with the old lime kiln in the foreground with the sunset behind it. Whoa, I'm slipping all over the place. I've just worn the trainers for this one, folks, so I probably don't have the ultimate grip today. But like, it's weird because the top surface is kind of starting to thaw out, but it's been frozen solid, so underneath it's still proper like icy. This is an incredible bit of land here. You can see the mad way the rocks are there, pure cliff. And then I'm sure my Christmas Day special was the last time I was in this area, and we went down there and explored at that area. But today I'm hoping to head further along the coast and just look at some different little nuggets of history that we didn't speak about the last time. The first interesting little thing here, actually, at the back of this little cove, in World War II there was actually a little Home Guard lookout up here. So if there was ever invasion on the east coast here, the Home Guard had a wee spot down here that they could look out, and probably they would have like maybe a machine gun. Often with the Home Guard, they wouldn't have had a machine gun here like all the time, because stuff like that was probably limited. But I believe they could have brought, if there was a threat on this coast, they could have brought items here to use. But I do like think that they had been here manning this area and looking out, because the Home Guard was obviously made up from local people, often old people. And the classic British TV programme Dad's Army, that's kind of a comedy sketch about the Home Guard. But there was genuine Home Guard around these places, setting up wee coastal defences. And the interesting thing, it's like everywhere that you see an area of land like that where the Germans could have come onto land with tanks and stuff, or landing gear, like often that's the areas that you see the defences. I'm just covering the camera with my hand here, folks, because it's crazy like wind. But there's a few other, like what would have been defences in the war further up here, so I'll just point them out as we go past. Whoa, there's some big waves ripping in there today. The tide's actually quite far out. Don't know if the colour of the sky comes out there, folks. You can see Bodden lime kiln down there at the edge of the sea with that crazy sky behind it, and as time goes on here on this walk, the sky is going to get more and more vivid orange. So I'm hoping to get right down here and document some cool coast. I can actually see already there's two people fishing way down on those wild rocks, and I'm going to follow this little path along the side of this field just now until we get further along there. I just love the coast where it's like wild and rocky, and there's so many wee like nooks and crannies to explore. It's almost like an infinite climbing frame. and it's just crazy. Often even the things you find along these adventures, it's like, it's mad what's washed up at the coast. I think the sky's getting orange even over at the other side from where the sun is. Down that way we're looking towards like Montrose and stuff like that, and then back up the coast, well that would be south, that's Arbroath and stuff down that direction. Look, here's another train. This one's totally fleeing past, like, look at that folks, there it is. That's a ScotRail train making its way up towards Montrose, maybe on to Aberdeen. I believe you can get the train right up this line all the way to like Thurso and stuff at the top of Scotland. The railway is one of the best ways often to travel if you're trying to get on a mega distance up the country. There's some pretty big waves today and I'm excited about that folks. I was just noticing the fence here, look at it, it comes around and then look, it's just dropped in, so that shows this whole bit's constantly moving. This will be the next bit to fall down into the sea. Yeah, the waves is looking mad. I can't wait to get down there and see what it looks like close up. I often just love walks like this. Sometimes I even come to places like this. I don't do a video. I just love coming on adventures often, being outdoors in the nature. Often the wild sea and the coast, it's some of the craziest places to be. You often don't realise the power of the waves until you're standing right in front of one, like ripping towards you. It's like getting chased down by a tiger or something. Another interesting thing nowadays, I can see way up, like up in the North Sea there's tons of those windmills that's been freshly built. Each time I visit here, I can just see more and more of those things cropping up. See, it's interesting because there's like a bit of a cove here, but down at the bottom there's no way that in World War II they could really land very well, so there's no actually any defences here like what we see at other bits further around the coast. Normally if there's a decent little beach at the bottom, you actually see the cement remains up at the top, normally somewhere around the top of these coves. And I'm always interested in stuff like that, documenting the wee bits of history that's hidden down even in the long grass. It's like almost forgotten forever. Local history of the Home Guards defending the coast here of Angus in World War II. Here we go folks, this next cove doesn't have the natural defence of the rocks at the bottom of the hill. So here we can see, this is what I speak about, remains of what would have been a little lookout here, or maybe even like a machine gun position. And it was just probably the most basic, it would have been the most basic of little lookout positions. It wasn't like a full pillbox or anything like that, what we see on the coast other places. But it is little remains like this that just tell the story of the history and the Home Guard. And you can see there is actually quite a lot of it here. And this is a recurring thing. Each time you go a wee bit further along the coast, every time you have a little cove like this, you always get that little World War II historical nugget there, just hidden at the top of it. There is a serious amount of cement, like, because like there's layers upon layers. It's like at the end of the war it was all just bulldozed and buried, because early after the war it wasn't really like an important thing to the people. They were more just like happy the war was over and they weren't needing any of this stuff anymore. Whereas now it's all got an interesting little story to tell of the history here in Angus. It's been so long since I came and looked at any of that stuff. I thought it's so cool to put the camera on and look at it tonight. And often as well, this time of year, before the grass all grows up, you can actually see stuff like this so much better. The sky just keeps getting more and more of that like rich orangey yellow. So because we were just looking at that up there, I think I'll just head down and navigate my way around this bit of the coast. It's just random and spontaneous, this area that I'm walking down. I could see some crazy waves crashing over the rocks as well. I love to see that now and again, like just a mad sea. It's not too crazy, but maybe that slight wind that's there today is like bringing more and more waves in, or making bigger waves. Yeah, this land here is so crazy. One time I came down to this coastal area, I saw there was actually a seal lying on the beach down here, which was so cool. But only one time ever at this wild bit of coast I've seen a seal on land. But I think it's because it's so wild here. They would get smashed against the rocks when they were trying to come in a boat. So a few weeks ago on the video, we were up the coast and we saw that sea cave, the massive one in the field, which at one time had collapsed in, creating a massive crater in the field. And this is a similar thing near the coast here, on the east coast. It's got this crazy bit where the sea actually comes under there at high tide. And at one time this whole bit has like dropped in. And it's crazy to see that, the power of the water and the erosion. Even when you're quite far from the sea, there can often be water under your feet and you don't even know it. Like when the tide's in, this is crazy. Look at it today. You see the daylight at the other side. You can hear the water ripping up there. Whoa, that's what I'm saying about the power of the sea, folks. It's mad. Yeah, this landscape, it's just... One day this will just drop right back down and smash. All these bits must have crumbled off over the years, and it'd be crazy to see that. This is a mad bit, folks. The sea's proper war on this big channel out here. It's crazy how the sea wears these channels through like fissures in the rocks. It almost looks like veins. The way the rocks is created back in the days when it was a volcanic madness out here. Whoa, look, we're just about at the sea. These waves are ferocious today out here. Whoa, I think there's going to be some crazy ones hitting this rock, like. Wow. Crazy waves with a mad sunset, folks. I'm going to get down here behind the rock though, so we're out of the wind. That's the thing when you're a YouTuber, the wind can ruin a good shot. The roar from these waves is crazy, folks. The typical thing happens, folks. Whenever I put the camera off, there's a wave just totally flew right in the air. It was crazy. Whereas right now, there's nothing too mad coming along that way. See, some days you can totally see the waves coming, but today it's just like a mad churning cauldron of water. And it's like 3 degrees Celsius. As the sun goes down, there's just more and more, like, the temperature's just dropping. Yeah, it's quite scary when you see the sea just right there roaring away to itself. Here comes a big wave now. It's going to proper spray, I think. Wow, it's just a mad scene, folks. Look, there's a bit here I can go and I'll have the water at both sides of me. It's probably pretty dangerous, folks, but that's what we're all about on this channel. Look at this, folks. Somebody's painted an X on that rock right there for some reason. Whoa, this is a crazy bit, folks. It's mad the way the water's spraying up here. The true atmosphere of this, like, I don't even know if it comes across in the video. Whoa, it's spraying up behind me. You just have to stay safe at the coast, folks. When the tide comes right in, it actually comes right up over these rocks that I'm standing on. That's why I'm just risking it here. You can sometimes get a high wave, like even when the sea's low as it is just now. Check it out. The water's coming right around this bit I'm on. I just love bits of coast like this. Look how red the sky's getting up towards Montrose. And then in front of us, it's just crazy waves. I would get closer, but it's too dangerous today, like. It's mad because there's some crazy rock pools. In the summer I was out looking in those rock pools. Whoa, there's waves like spraying like crazy. See, bits like this, even where I'm standing just now, you can have like caves and stuff under your feet and you don't even know it. There's no much life in these rock pools at this time of year. underneath this bit I'm standing on right now, there's actually a cave. So if you get a high wave coming in, it properly sprays right up in the air. Mad scenes, folks. Anyway, let's head on up the coast. It's crazy because these clouds is kind of covering the best of the sunset at that side now, which is disappointing. Check out those waves ripping into this little bay down here. I'm kind of thinking I should have walked into that bay when I was at the bottom of the hill. I've now come back up to the bottom of the field and I'm still heading up towards the Oozing direction. I can see these fishermen are still out on the wild edge of the rocks there. But I can definitely see that the clouds are starting to block the dark red sky. In the distance as well, I can see the silhouette of Arbroath and that at the other side of the water there. I think Scotland kind of curves around and then comes back out down at that end. Not unless that's Fife away in the distance, it could actually be. See another thing that I could actually see as well, Bellrock Lighthouse is out there and I can see the silhouette of it. Sometimes when it's ice cold like this, I think you can see further, it's like the air's clearer. Check it out, folks, I've walked miles now. The wind is bitter cold and the sun's setting. And I'm just thinking I'm going to do a little circuit here and walk around by like Oozing, Scotstoun at Oozing and stuff like that. That abandoned house and farm we were at was actually at Men's of Oozing, which is like another couple of miles up the coast. But today I'm thinking we'll go all the way to Seaton of Oozing, up the hill, and then back up the main road and do like a bit of a circuit. But it is literally like a race against sunset because as you can see, it's getting darker and darker and we're still blessed with this beautiful red sky. Look at this, folks, this is the wee abandoned house. I was going to stick at the end of the field, but my exploring instinct kicked in. Whoa, this is so wild down here. The wind's blowing through ice cold. That's the reason this little ruin is so degraded out here. This has been like some little fishing bothy. Wow, check this out for a sunset setting. A little coastal fishing bothy out here. The wind is just howling round. I'm so glad I put on the BKR woolly hat for this one. That guy's just chilling out there catching fish on that rock. He's brave sitting out there. No, unless the tide is going out. But yeah, it's crazy. I'm going to head right around the bottom of this coast. I was going to stick up in the field, but I just thought it's cool to come back down and look at this ruin. Look at that bricks and mortar, folks. Maybe put in the 1600s or the 1700s, and it's still standing here to this day. A little historical wonder, like pounded by the wild weather of the east coast here. Just look at the erosion on some of the bricks. You can maybe tell through the footage now that it's like we're starting to lose light pretty quick. That's how I think I'm going to crack on around the coast. I'm going to do a circuit right around by Oozing. I think I mentioned that when I was in the field. Yeah, this house has been built right onto this bedrock here. Crazy, folks. A good foundation there. Check that out, folks. That's what I mean when it's ice cold. Even that crazy water here in the rock pools is frozen solid. This is a mad bit in the land here. Because the light's kind of fading and there's almost that orange tint to the sky. It's like being on another planet. It's got that wild roar from the sea. But yeah, it's all this strange, like almost purple rocky terrain here. And there's like these green stones mixed in through it. Some of the stones around this coastal area here are so cool. It's just mad the amount of different bits and pieces you notice on a walk like this. It's unusual how some bits of the coast's got these mad like sheer cliffs, and then other bits it's almost like rolling jagged rocks. Whoa, this is a proper icy bit here. You hate to watch because bits like this your foot could just disappear into a wet hole. Whoa. Whoa, check out folks, slippy ice on these rocks right here. It's been another mad adventure into the wild lands of Scotland folks, and it's crazy often just to see small corners like this. I used to regularly love walking around this area, but it's been so long. My next adventure tomorrow, I'm hoping to go and see a cool bit of World War II history that we've never seen before on the channel, so yeah, I'm excited about that. Today I was just limited from the couple of hours I had for an adventure. Coming here has been so cool, and seeing this sunset, it's been just mad. But I still have to make it back to my car. I'm still heading in the opposite direction from my car, that's the crazy thing. Whoa, I can see huge waves just blasting over the top of these rocks. Check this out folks, this is my next leg of the journey. Only one problem. Look, pure ice. I need to get over this particular bit of the land here. And it's obviously a steep cliff. I think I need to go down this way over here, where it looks like it's less slippy. I'll just keep the camera rolling for this bit folks, in case I fall in. Whoa, this is slippy. Crazy. Not safe folks, I don't advise anybody to come this way. Like, if the tide was in right now, I wouldn't be able to get round here. Even right here where I'm walking, it's so slippy. Because I'm in the Adidas as well, it's not the best. And obviously the ice doesn't help. Even if it wasn't icy, it'd probably be slippy here. Okay, this is crazy coastal conditions. And look at that, it's an ice waterfall. Frozen up. Normally you can negotiate along the top of there, but it's too dangerous. It's better just taking a safer route and taking your time in these conditions. Literally the sun is setting folks, I don't know if you can tell through the footage. So this is actually Ousens Bay we're walking into at the moment folks. We've just come like a mad direction. Look at that with the water running underneath the ice. See that folks, the things you see right here on this channel. Nature like never before. And stuff like that, it's so interesting to see that. It's often things in nature you wouldn't even know existed. Like water running underneath the ice. It's just happening over this whole area. Yeah, this Ousens Harbour here, well, Ousens Bay, it used to be big for the fishing back in the day, but it's one of the few remaining harbours, or bays I should say, that still does the fishing to this day, because most of it's been like moved up to Peterhead and it's all a bigger industry now, and the local fishermen, it's like a dying trade. Some of these little harbours have only got 1 or 2 boats sailing out of them. But an interesting thing, I think it's still the same family that own the fishing here, that they had it way back in the day, and for generations. Look at this here, the sky is like that dark red colour. Crazy scenes once again folks. Check it out folks. Ronaldinho's kicked his football into the sea at Brazil and it's washed up all the way here in Scotland. Yeah, look at this madness. Normally this Pebble Beach here is like beautiful sand, but it depends, like at this time of year with the winter storms, it often washes a lot of bigger pebbles further up and in. Different times of years, places like this can look totally different. Look at that there. The smooth sand almost looks dark in this winter conditions we're in. And I'm just hoping this path's not totally flooded out. It's like we're walking about in a Scottish postcard folks. That's why I love coming to a walk like this. It's just crazy, like navigating terrain like this. Oh, this is so muddy here. Look at this folks, loads of old ship anchors here. Old anchors from boats. Fishing heritage right there. Oh, this is like an absolute bog. That's a steep hill there to walk up coming off this beach, but it's so cool. There's an old tower here, and an interesting thing with this old tower, we can see the top of it, but aye, this old tower here it is, and it used to have a metal beacon on top of it that you could fill with wood and stuff and light, and they used to light it on like the foggy nights so the fishermen would be guided back, and they knew like the safe way to come back to this location. And that's what used to be on top of that tower, and I believe that was taken off the top of there in the 60s, lowered down with a rope when they were scrapping the place. But that's the old tower there. And then all those old like abandoned houses. At one time it was like a thriving fishing area, this, a little fishing village. Sometimes when you come to these little coastal areas of Scotland, it's like visiting some of the old Scottish islands and that out on the west coast. Again, there's all these old buildings, almost eerie in character, battered for this coastal weather. And over there in the distance, between us and the lighthouse, which is flashing at Skirdy Ness, I can see the abandoned farm from last week's video. Check out that, the corrugated iron on the roof, the ends of it's just totally corroded. That's from the salt in the air at the coast here. It's like travelling back in time. All these old buildings and stuff, probably not even changed much for like the 60s or even before it. Looks like they've got newer buildings over here as the farm's like developed, upgraded with the time. This is an interesting little bit because the main road here comes through the farmyard pretty much when you go down to that little spot at Ousing. So cool, folks, a real countryside scene here. So I can see there's an old like eerie abandoned farmhouse down there, and the roof's totally kaput. That must have been the original farmhouse for this farm, and I'm just thinking that could have been the original entrance. The road may have gone in there and around the back, but it looks like it's been a massive farmhouse originally. I love the way this wall's built as well. Look, it's almost like made of slabs built together. Crazy dry stone like construction as well, with no mortar. Probably stood there for hundreds of years. Yes, this is it. Anyway, I'm just about back at my car. My car's like up, probably like a mile and a half up this main road now. Whoa, here comes a car. I'm waiting to get run over it here before I get back. Check it out, folks. Now we're at the top of this hill once again. You can see the sunset over the sea. It's not been as spectacular tonight as like some nights when I go out. The sunset is just crazy. So I went under the railway on the way into that adventure, and now I'm going over the top of it. I've just thought, like, there's a crazy amount of sheep in this field right here. They must be eating these like neeps or whatever it is on the ground. So this is basically what Scotland looks like in the evening, folks. Normally in my adventures the sun's shining or it's like midday. It's been cool today to come out and just make the most of the couple hours I had. And right now it'll be dark in like 5 minutes, because once it gets this dark it just goes quick. So it'll be cool for the end of this video. We've just timed it right. I'm probably half a mile from my car now. And now that it's getting dark, I can see the lights of the ships out on the sea. Whoa, all those sheep are just running away now, look. I frightened them. Check them all out. I don't know if they come out, they're so far away now. There's an electric fence here to stop them running out that big hole in the wall. Yeah, there's a tree on this road, and one day I saw a weasel like pulling a rat up the tree and going in the hole in the tree with the rat. It was a crazy event. And it was struggling to even climb like up the tree with the rat in its mouth, but it managed, like. So it's crazy often the things that's just right on your doorstep in like nature or whatever. The things you often see when you're on a walk, it's crazy. Check it out, folks, it's getting pretty dark now. I've made it back to the car and I've come in here because it's so windy outside, it's crazy. Again, as the sun's set, it's just the wind's getting more and more steady and it's freezing cold. But I thought, yeah, I'll end this one here. It's been a mad adventure. I've loved seeing that bit of coast that we've documented, and we've just had enough time here to do it. Again, it looks like I'm the last person parked at this lay-by. I think the fishermen that we saw must be parked down at the far side of Ousing there where we were. Like where we walked through. And the sun is just like a tiny speck on the horizon now. But yeah, that was a cool adventure, folks. I'll be back soon. I'm planning on going to an abandoned historical wonder tomorrow, so that'll be a cool adventure. Sawing up the coast, World War II, but you'll see what that is in the next video. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you soon, folks.